have like a tunnel vision. Like my goals are there. I don't let anything stand in my way or stop me, no matter what.
If you are a loyal Net TV viewer, you recognize this face.
Hey, it's Craig Syracuse, and welcome to another episode of Walk in Faith.
Craig Tubiolo, Syracuse, is probably one of the hardest working people at the sales media. The program director, producer, director, and TV host is behind some of the most popular programs airing on the station, including his highly acclaimed series, Walk in Faith. The show features luminaries in their respective fields, including Dr. Oz, Sam Worthington, and Mario Lopez.
You know, they say you're not supposed to talk about politics and religion. Well, I never share my political views. However, I'm always proud to promote that I am Catholic. So God bless everyone, and thank you for your time.
They've always said, like, you need to create a bridge between the world of faith and Hollywood. And it's easy. And we started to do that and bring celebrities in, and it works. I mean, it works. It's not like this is a formula that you need to recreate.
Even though he spends much of his time surrounded by stars, this little guy is the light of his life.
Mario is my little baby. He's the cutest little thing. He's this big. And he's always smiling. I tell him every day, make sure you smile, make sure you smile. Have to smile.
A smile Craig and his wife Dana feared they would never see.
It was a long process. About 5 years, I would say.
A painful challenge that pushed them to the limits of their faith.
I always said to my wife Dana, God has a plan. And even in those moments, it's difficult to see that because you're like, well, it doesn't make sense. And you start questioning. And my wife's like, well, we're so good. We're such good people. And I said, well, it's the timing, you know. We looked into adopting. But I knew I wasn't ready to give up.
With this struggle behind them, each day they embrace the 99 different ways this faith makes it all worth it. Craig finds the value of life in the most common moments.
I look at him and you just enjoy, and I always say, even if he's screaming, I'm like, this might be the last time he screams, because every day he gets older and older. So you try to embrace those moments and you just appreciate him like he wants to be held. I'm like, okay, I love holding him and I'd love to go do some work, but you know, I'm enjoying this because when he's older, he's not even gonna want to be near me. He's like, oh, Dad, I gotta go out.
Craig's deep faith guides him, beliefs present long before God blessed him with his little miracle. Life's greater meaning more apparent when the day-to-day grind stopped being less about bank accounts and more about accountability.
I try to describe it as like a fire that burns, and it's like an idol, like if you were looking at an engine and it burns, and it's sort of like just drive. But the drive is not because I want to be rich. When I was a kid, I want to be a billionaire, and I was working towards these goals, and then I was never happy. So then when I took off the focus of money and it became just about making it, you know, believing in something bigger, and if you live in your focus is on helping other people and really making a difference, nothing could really break that.
Never one to shy away from a challenge, this man of faith looked for the Spirit of God in the most unlikely of places, a boxing ring. Well, unlikely to you or me.
And the one sport that always stands out is boxing. First person they thank is God. There's a connection between God and fighting. Somehow boxing, MMA, whatever it is, and that's what was fascinating. Why is there such a connection? And I think, and a lot of people say yes, it's in the Bible. St. Paul talks about boxing, and they say he might have been a boxer, and some people say no, but there's that connection between like life or death. Okay. So when you're put in situations where you could die or be injured, you thank God.
There are those who describe the sport as more of a bitter battle than a sweet science. Craig counters the negative connotation by flipping the script on me mid-interview.
Like, let me ask you a question. Do you think that the gift that you have is a gift from God?
I do,
Okay.
absolutely.
So do I, right? So now somebody could disagree with that and say, there's no way God gave you a gift to be on TV, that's whatever. So if you have a talent, no matter what it is, it could be sanitation. If you use that to make a difference in someone's life, it's a gift, right? And if you don't use that gift the right way, is that a sin? So you argue that point of sports or boxing, like, God gave me this gift to box. So who are you to say it's a sin? So it's about using boxing as a way of telling a story and uniting people of all different faiths.
With this unique perspective, Craig is able to focus on the other 99 times in boxing to see past the violent nature of the exchange between athletes to the overarching vision of learning how the sport connects people of all backgrounds and faith. The project is a successful one, a welcome win after a series of losses.
You undertook a project several years ago. You made a film.
Oh yeah. Oh. I forgot about that. Alerta.
And it didn't go as planned, but you know, I mean, you take chances with that,
Yeah.
you know, and then you took a deep financial loss for that.
That's probably my fourth one that I've invested in that I didn't make any money on.
Some people would have given up. Craig, he found the bright side.
I make jokes about it, but what I do is I look back at from the beginning of time, let's say, from my life, and I say, okay, I did the first movie, Cake, right? I invested a lot of money into it. I don't think I made anything on it, but I met Joe Estevez from there, and then I met all these other people, and and then from Joe I met Martin, and I start to do sort of the roadmap of why did I do it? It wasn't for money. I did it for, okay, so I met so and so, and then I met so and so, but you never know. Like, the boxing film might do well, and then they'll look back and say, oh, you also did a movie with Paulie Malignaggi and the world champion boxer, and all of that. Because of that movie, it enabled me to do this documentary,
Right.
because I knew everybody already. Oh, you're the guy that did that boxing movie. So everybody knew me from that world, and I met a lot of people from doing it. So failure is part of it. I always say it's either going to be super successful or it's going to fail miserably, and that's like with anything I do. And I always say that. I'm not afraid to fail.
After organizing an event that he considered an epic fail, he had two choices: give up or use the experience to grow. For Craig, it was a no-brainer.
I learned so much that day. I learned so much about just putting together an event and how to stay cool. And so everything I do, whether it's a failure or not, I learn something, and I learn its experience. And the only way you get experience is by failing sometimes or succeeding. But so I mean, I think it just depends on the person, because some people can't handle failure and they put too much emphasis on this event. There is no one event or one thing you do that's going to catapult your career. So everything is steps and stages.
Even when he feels he may be adrift in a sea of doubt, with God as his anchor, he finds the positive in each day.
When do you feel your deepest connection with God?
I mean, I struggle every day, I'm not making enough money, I'm not doing this, and every day it's like, and I question, like, what am I doing, God? I know I can work in the city, and I know I can go back to my old job, and I'm like, but it's, then that's the negative. That's like, but then I remind myself, will I really be happy if I'm just working in the city for money? No, because the goal is this, like, and then I try to define, like, what is the ultimate goal? My vision is, I don't know when, is to do huge concerts, right? Faith-based concerts. I've done them on small scales, but to do huge ones. Like World Youth Day, we call it Faith Day, where everyone comes together as one. So like, that's the goal. That to me will be happening in 2 years. I know I'll do it. I won't stop till I do it, but when I hear and I see it and I know the clear vision, that's when I'm happy.
Representing the Diocese of Brooklyn, please welcome Craig Tubiolo.
Contemporary wisdom describes life as a marathon, not a sprint. It's also been said that life is too short to sweat the small stuff. No matter what adage he subscribes to, for Craig, it's about learning to appreciate each step God has ordered in one's life.
I don't enjoy so much the journey. I'm not always content. And that's a problem, because I'm like, well, when I get to there, I'll be happy. And I'm 36 now, and I've been saying that for 20 years, so I'm like, oh, I gotta just enjoy where I am, because when I hit that pinnacle and I'm that whoever I want to be, something else will happen, and then I'll say, well, when I get to there, I'll be happy. So now I'm learning to enjoy those moments and just say, oh, I'm happy where I am right now, and when I get to that next stage, I'll be happy.
You'll be happier then.
So, through his ups and downs, failures and victories, Craig now understands the journey is its own reward.
It's been a real pleasure getting to know a little bit more about you, Craig. Thank you so much for being honest, opening up, and thank you for joining us for this edition of The Other 99 Times, where we talk to people just like you and me that have their issues, but they choose to focus on the positive instead. Again, we are in the beautiful Co-Cathedral of St. Joseph. We look forward to talking with you again. On behalf of Craig Tubiolo, I'm Liz Faublas. Have a great, great day.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.